Is it conceivable that Thanos could lift Thor's mighty hammer Mjolnir, and is there some evidence to suggest that this may be the case and has happened in the comics before? In the current Thor run, an imminent showdown is being promised between Thor and Thanos, potentially with Mjolnir in the wrong hands. So let's break down everything we know about the upcoming showdown and evaluate whether or not Thanos may be actually able to wield Thor's mighty hammer Mjolnir and could be worthy. The evidence of the conquest comes from a vision that Thor received at the behest of the Black Winter. In this vision, Thanos reigns victorious over the forces of Asgard by leading an army of the dead into battle. At his side, however, Thanos also carries Mjolnir, which has been imbued with the power of 6 Infinity Stones. In the vision, Thanos and Thor battle to a standstill until Thanos is gradually able to erode Thor's ability to defend himself. Eventually, Thanos chips away at Thor's defenses and defeats the God of Thunder, promising that he will dine in Valhalla for the battle that he fought. At the end of the vision, Thanos executes Thor and usurps the throne of Asgard. But now, we have to understand why exactly the hammer Mjolnir seems to be more susceptible to being Thanos' personal weapon than before. What exactly are the circumstances revolving around Thanos lifting Mjolnir? Usually, the worthiness enchantment prevents anyone who does not fit Odin's criteria of worthy from lifting Mjolnir, and there have been some very strict parameters on who is capable of wielding the hammer. Over the years, there have only been a few rare exceptions, so how can Thanos, one of the most despicable and twisted individuals in the Marvel Universe, circumvent one of the most sturdy and powerful enchantments in all of Asgard? Well, during this arc, we've also learned that Mjolnir is consistently becoming heavier for Thor, and that the magic is not as stable as it was once believed to be. Additionally, it became lighter for other people as well, which would indicate that the worthiness enchantment of Mjolnir could be slowly fading away. Thor even speculates as to exactly why this could be happening, as he suggests that it may have something to do with him transitioning to a new title. At the beginning of the comic run, Thor had ascended to the throne of Asgard and had now become king, which Thor thinks may be inhibiting his ability to use Mjolnir. Until now, he has not been Asgard's king, he has been Asgard's warrior. He was a soldier in the field, using Mjolnir in battle to protect Asgard in the 9 realms as its defender, not its monarch. This is where he felt the most comfortable, and more importantly, this was the position where he needed a weapon. To Thor, a king's weapon does not see battle as much as that of a warrior's, and since Thor is no longer in the field, this could be setting up a new weapon for Thor. And perhaps the hammer may actually even betray Thor, feeling left behind as a warrior and seek out someone like Thanos. Mjolnir is likely testing the water for new candidates, which is why we're seeing it get lighter and easier to wield for other characters who would otherwise not be worthy. How this extends all the way to Thanos, however, is still a mystery, but it's also important to note that Thanos has the power of the Infinity Stones as well as Mjolnir combined into one. The stones themselves have been resurfacing across the earth, calling Thanos back to collect them before marching on the gates of Asgard. Mjolnir's enchantment is strong, but it's not entirely immune to characters who can bend the rules or wield Mjolnir on a technicality. Take Magneto for example, who was able to manipulate the magnetic fields around the hammer and then control its motion. He's not able to gain the powers of Thor, but for all intents and purposes, Magneto is able to utilize Mjolnir like he can another piece of metal. Magneto makes a fight with Thor much more complicated when he begins manipulating his most iconic weapon. Similarly, Moon Knight has also shown the ability to bend Mjolnir in a very similar way. On this particular occasion, we learn a little bit more about Uru and where it comes from, as Mark Spector reveals that Uru is just another moon rock, and its ore is mined from the moons across the galaxy. Thanks to this loophole, Mjolnir technically falls under Khonshu's domain, and as an avatar of Khonshu the moon god, Mark can actually bend and control Mjolnir. We also know that Mjolnir's enchantment does not extend into certain domains which fall outside of the main realm of existence. Take for example the time that Mjolnir fell into the realm of Mephisto, and was then shortly thereafter found by none other than Doctor Doom. While in the realm of Hell, Doctor Doom was able to lift and wield Mjolnir since Mephisto's domain was not protected by the enchantment of Asgard, and Mephisto has safeguards put in place to make sure its own magic was dominant. Simply put, Asgardian magic simply couldn't reach down this far, and when Doctor Doom got back to the surface, he was no longer worthy of the hammer. The enchantment was reinstated, and there was nothing that he could do to bend the hammer to his will. This is all to say that there are certain cheat codes that some characters can apply to Mjolnir in order to control it without ever actually having to be worthy of it. Most importantly, however, is that the enchantment prohibits technicalities like this from accessing the powers of Thor. so neither Magneto nor Moon Knight can channel lightning through the hammer or use any of its supernatural abilities. In the vision though, we do see lightning crackling off of the head of the hammer, indicating that there is something more going on here and in this particular comic line that will follow. The key here may be the Infinity Stones, because when the stones are all collected together as one, they allow the user to quite literally rewrite the fabric of existence. In the MCU, we know that the stones can overload certain containment units, such as the original Infinity Gauntlet, which was not powerful enough to channel all 6 stones together. Thanos' snap in Infinity War ravaged the gauntlet simply because he tried to channel so much power through a tool that could not take it. And in the comics, this usually is not the case. On most occasions, the gauntlet is entirely capable of utilizing the full power of all 6 Infinity Stones and doing so repeatedly, making the comic users of the gauntlet much stronger than their MCU counterparts are. With the stones aiding Thanos, it's entirely possible that Thanos has simply rewritten the enchantment or gotten rid of it entirely. But this is simple work for the Infinity Stones. It's even possible that he created a reality somewhere where he is the only one worthy of Mjolnir, as in the comics the stones are far more powerful. Whatever the case though, it doesn't seem like Thanos has earned the power of the hammer on his own merits alone. He has not demonstrated any personality traits that could even remotely justify him as worthy. So there's most likely going to be some sort of loophole or technicality if this vision ever comes true. It's also important to remember though that we don't technically know why the magic of Mjolnir's enchantment is fading away. We don't have any official confirmation, just characters speculating. All we have in fact is Thor's speculation and his best guess as to what could be going on with Mjolnir. So it's entirely possible that this isn't actually why the magic is fading away. Thanos might already be tampering with Mjolnir in some way or another. But we don't know for sure until this new Thor run is officially over and we get a conclusion to some of these dangling plot threads. Whatever the case may be though, we do know that this run is building up to an epic showdown with Thanos and Thor. Thor taking his place as the new king of Asgard. So if the vision is to be believed, then Thor may be destined to fail unless he can find a way to avert his destiny, regain control of his beloved hammer, and figure out how to come out on top once again. But anyway friends, what do you think of the current Thor run? And how do you think Thanos is going to come into possession of Mjolnir going forward? And what do you think of the look of Mjolnir and the 6 stones combined into one powerful weapon? How will this bond with the Infinity Stones? And do you think that the vision is destined to come true? Most importantly, why is the magic surrounding Mjolnir's enchantment fading? And is Thor right in his conclusion? And that through his transition of titles, that now he requires the weapon of a king? Anyway, my friends, thank you so much for stopping by. Hulk smash that subscribe button and have a great day.